Doesn't have a really cool Black Pride experience, and in 2021 it was high time to bring it here to the city.
Yeah. When we think about Black Pride as it pertains to events happening during the month of June, how does it tie into the overall celebrations happening?
So Black Pride Colorado really is about creating the cultural context to this celebration, right? So while there's large, Pride celebrations happening across the country, across the world, Black Pride Colorado really is about creating the intersection between our Blackness, queerness, celebrating joy, liberation, all of the above.
You know, we often hear criticism from some people who say, why separate yourselves? Anytime Black or Latino is in the name of something, we hear this argument that you're trying to separate instead of being inclusive yourselves. But with that in mind, why is Black Pride necessary?
So I think whenever we get that question, it's really rooted in misunderstanding, right, of our history, of legacy, of lineage. And so it comes down to not really being separated, but really calling out what's important in the Pride celebration, which is all of the work, right, that Black queer folks have done in the movement, but also in the Black movement. So it's not just about separating even Pride events, but not separating people as well.
And China, you're an ally.
Yes.
What is the role of non-queer folks within Black Pride?
Simply put, my role is just to not center myself, right? As an ally, it's my job to show up as a listener, as a supporter, volunteer, an investor, anything I can do to elevate the Black queer voices, the Black queer space. Again, it really lends itself to understanding that these events overall are about community. And so you don't have to be Black and queer to attend. Matter of fact, anyone that's in your circle should be able to come and lend a hand and celebrate and cheer and advocate.
I love you saying not centering yourself. One thing I say just within my own circles is you cannot be a self-proclaimed ally and just sit down.
Right.
There's work to do. There are conversations to be had, and there's a lot of work to going into being a true ally. And the first things first, do not center yourself in these conversations.
Absolutely.
China, we're seeing a lot of corporations step away from DEI, and a few of those companies were big proponents of Pride. Does this year's celebration feel different because of the climate?
Absolutely. It completely feels different, but I think it feels different in the way of giving us an opportunity to get back to grassroots organizing, right? That's where the center of, Black civil rights movement came from. And so similarly with Black queer folks, it's about getting away from performative support. It's no longer about just big corporate backing, which we all do enjoy and love and appreciate. But this one is about figuring out where the resilience is in the community. To your point about allies, right? The ally incites workmanship. Where are you putting your hands and your feet for this movement? And so it gets back to, how do we corral around ourselves and those that we love that are in the queer community, especially the Black queer community, to invest in their efforts around music and film and art and everything they love.
Yeah, and Pride decades and decades ago was just us in the room saying we are here and we matter. And I think there is a sense that at least in the community, maybe getting back to that isn't a bad thing.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You guys were speaking earlier about how important it is to just elevate your own voice in the room, and that doesn't mean only hear mine. It means add mine to the conversation, right? So when we step into any room, it's about making sure that you're learned, that you're asking the questions, that you're a great listener, but also that you're doing what you can to push your queer folks to the front, because they're change makers, right? And we all need each other.
Before we let you go, China, I know there are a lot of young people who watch and listen to Real Talk. For a Black queer young person that's listening or watching this interview, what would you say to them to encourage them this time of year?
I think I would say to step out, right? And if you can't step out on your own, grab someone else's hand. You'll be surprised how many of us, even allies or, queer brothers and sisters that you might have that are willing just to take one step with you. Sometimes it's about one event. Sometimes it's about showing up to a panel or to a talk or a great party, which we're definitely going to have. But just step out and say, I want to be a part, and I don't know how yet. From what I've seen and from what I advocate for, there's a community that's more than willing to take you on and move you through the process of being out loud, proud, and fly.
Out loud, proud, and fly. China Scroggins with Black Pride Colorado. Thank you so much for joining us for this Real Talk.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Still ahead, coming out is not always a straight line.
We're talking to one man who came out in high school only to go back in the closet while training to become a Catholic priest.
Now he's using his platform to speak out about faith and identity. Stay with us. This is Real Talk with Denver 7 and CPR News. Welcome back to Real Talk with Denver 7 and CPR News. I'm Colorado Public Radio's Nathan Fernando Frescas.
And I'm Denver 7's Micah Smith.
Throughout this episode, we've been exploring what pride means, especially for voices that are too often pushed to the margins of the LGBTQ+ community.
That includes queer people of faith who are sometimes told they don't belong in religion or LGBTQ+ spaces. Our next guest knows that struggle too well. Cade Bradley knew he was gay in high school and even came out for a time, telling his parents and siblings who accepted him with open arms.
But for Cade, finding exactly who his authentic self was took a lot of time, introspection, and actually going back into the closet for a while. He became deeply connected and involved with the Catholic Church, studying for a time to be a priest, hiding his homosexuality deep inside.
So Cade eventually left the Catholic Church and now has thousands of followers on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find him there as GayXTrad, where he speaks about leaving the church and speaking out against fundamentalist Catholicism.
Cade, thanks so much for being here for this Real Talk.
It's a joy being here with y'all.
So there's a lot to unpack with what we just said. You were accepted by your family as being gay, but after that you actually went back into the closet for a while, hiding for quite some time. What made you make that decision?
I knew that I was gay from a young age, but I didn't know what that meant for my life. I knew that I would be accepted, but I didn't know what did this mean for careers, what did this mean for falling in love, what did this mean for family, what did this mean to live a happy, healthy life as a gay man. There wasn't a ton of representation. I knew that gay people existed, but I'd never really met any of them. And so when I was a young person struggling with all these big questions, instead of trying to come to answers, I was like, well, if I just stay quiet for now, maybe the answers will hit me somewhere down the line.
And your family is very religious, I'm right, and even that was accepting, but there still was that sense of, I don't feel comfortable in my skin just yet, right?
Yeah, I've always thought deeply about the world, and I just didn't know what to make of it. What does this mean for my life? What does this mean for my faith? What does any of this mean? And I found in religion it had really easy answers to really complex questions, and that seemed appealing for a time.
Go a little bit deeper in that, because you went very deep into the Catholic faith, right? And you felt and believed truly in what you were being taught, right?
Yeah, what I was taught is that you can experience same-sex attraction, but you can't act on it. That your experience of the world isn't your identity. And so it kind of provides this easy out where I could go, I'm not denying the fact to myself that I know that I'm attracted to men, but I just don't have to tell anyone. And actually, this thing can make me more holy because it's a big cross. It's a big set of suffering. And so when I was Catholic and I was reading all of these philosophy books and looking at various seminaries and wanted to become a priest, it was like I could just shut that part of my life, lock in a box, and throw it away and not have to address the elephant in the room, which is my identity, my happiness, my joy. And so I was kind of able to just lock in a box and not even address it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of internal conflict for one person to bear. You eventually decided to leave the Catholic faith. What went through your mind when you made that decision, and your decision really to leave religion altogether?
When I was 20 and looking at the rest of my life, hearing that I could never be married, and then even that the priesthood was kind of off of the table because I wasn't sufficiently straight enough, I went, wait, they're asking like a lot of me. But do they have good reasons to do that? And I'd spent all of my years reading philosophy thinking that we had reasons. And then I went back through and said, but should our reasons line up to our certainty? Right? They have answers, but the question is, are they good answers? When I looked back through, they're asking of me this impossible thing. I should have the evidence match that. What I found is that it didn't match, which then meant there was a choice. I think a lot of people choose to stay in religion because it is beautiful, and there's so many amazing communities that I've visited, people that I've spoke to. But I think the tragedy of it all is that this traditional Catholic group that I was a part of made me decide between the two. You can be gay or you can be religious, and I said, I want to have a happy, healthy life, I want to fall in love, I want to have a community that accepts me for who I am, so I'm going to choose that, and then got blacklisted from it.
Blacklisted, so no communication with them whatsoever.
Yeah, all of the relationships, the connections that I had, all of a sudden evaporated overnight.
Yeah.
Well, even though those relationships ended, you do have a lot of parasocial relationships happening with thousands of followers on YouTube and TikTok, because you're speaking about being an ex-Catholic and your journey to being your authentic self. What are you helping to tell those that might be in similar shoes that you were in?
I think you get to make decisions that work for you. What you want to do with your identity, with your life, with dating, with religion, I think that's up to you. And what I hope my platform does is give people an informed choice. When they're looking at potentially joining a religion, like, here's the pros, here's the cons, and you get to make that decision. Or if you're in it and somebody says, oh, you can't be in it, you go, no, here's some arguments that I know that I can be part of this. I have no interest in if somebody decides to stay religious or join a different religion or leave altogether. I want people to be happy, and I think that my experience has allowed a number of people to make those informed decisions so that they can end up where they want to be up on their own journey.
Yeah, and that brings us back to this whole episode. What does pride mean to you? Being who you are and being, you know, your experience, what does it mean to you?
I think people forget that pride is a response to something. I was on a big debate recently. It was one very conservative individual who wanted to eradicate trans people from public life versus 25 LGBT activists, and he asked me that same question. And I said, well, the guy behind me, you told him that he's not married. Even though he's legally married, there's civil protections. You say that his marriage is invalid and should be eradicated from public life. That's what pride is about. And so pride is a response where we take up space, where we tell people that are at home in these difficult situations that there is a community that accepts you for who you are. And I want their world I want the day in which the first time somebody hears that they are truly accepted and loved is not at a pride parade. I want it to happen when they're hugging their parents, when they're hearing something from the pastor, when they're at school. I want that message of love to be everywhere, and I think it first starts with pride, and then it grows from there.
Yeah.
All right, Cade Bradley, you can find him on his socials at GayXTrad. He lives in the Denver area. Cade, thank you so much for joining us for this Real Talk.
It's been a joy being here with y'all.
All right, and we know this is a nuanced issue, and we do have an entire Real Talk episode on Christianity and the LGBTQ plus community. You can watch or listen anytime on denver7.com/realtalk or at cpr.org/realtalk.
And that is this week's episode of Real Talk with Denver 7 and CPR News, where every week we have a Real Talk on issues impacting Coloradans who are often overlooked.
Have a great day.
I'm Danielle Kreuter with Denver 7 in Jefferson County, where a judge just handed down a life sentence to Joseph Koenig. The victim's family in this case now saying it's time for them to heal.
No one won in this case. None of it was good.
Kelly Bartell sharing that moments after the man convicted of killing her only daughter was sent to prison for the rest of his life.
You still feel like when something like this happens that maybe you can change it or you can bring her back, but nothing changes. She's still gone. But we have justice.
On April 19th, 2023, a rock came crashing through Alexa Bartell's windshield, killing her. And just over 2 years later, a jury found Joseph Koenig guilty of her murder. The conviction came with a mandatory life sentence. Even so, Alexa's family filled the courtroom to tell the judge what they've been through.
Her dreams, her goals, her aspirations. They've all been stolen by this low-life piece of garbage sitting over here who considers a fun night out throwing rocks at oncoming cars.
Koenig was seen wiping tears from his eyes before he had the last word.
We didn't intend to hurt Alexa or hurt anybody else that night. My attorneys, they told me not to make a statement today, but this is probably going to be the only time I can ever say this. I'm so sorry.
Koenig was also sentenced to 60 additional years for crimes connected to other drivers who were targeted. I asked his attorneys if they plan to appeal. They said they will.
We're prepared for the possibility of the appeal. I think that's almost probable.
With the court cases behind them for now, Alexa's family says they can focus on celebrating her life.
She was amazing, and she loved everybody, and she loved God, and she believed in forgiveness and being kind, and we'll carry that.
The judge did say in court that Koenig's attorneys do have 49 days if they do plan to file an appeal. In Jefferson County, I'm Danielle Kreuter, Denver 7.
Xcel is installing hundreds of miles of new power lines and several substations across the state. Some would be built on private properties in Elbert County. Several of those property owners reached out to Denver 7's Claire Lavazorio. She's hearing their concerns and explains why they're pushing back against the project.
We love the rolling hills, the trees, the wildlife.
I grew up in a rural atmosphere and wanted to have that for raising our kids.
The simpleness of it.
That's why Elbert County residents love living in this part of Colorado. But they say $1 billion Xcel Energy project is putting them at risk.
They aren't taking into account all the different costs.
The electric company says 48 miles of 275 new steel poles in Elbert County will improve the state's energy grid.
This project will open fertile regions for clean energy for the state of Colorado at large.
Clear cut these trees.
These neighbors shared concerns about the project. They believe it could increase the risk of wildfires, decrease property values, and that the project has no benefit to them.
This is a rural community. We have a lot of elderly people who can't evacuate quickly.
Elbert County gets no benefit. Our way of life will be ruined for their benefit.
That's why they formed the Elbert County Environmental Alliance, a group fighting Colorado's power pathway on the Eastern Plains. They got their signs ready for Tuesday night's Planning Commission hearing, where Xcel is hoping to get approval for the Elbert County portion of the project. But county staff found Xcel's application failed to meet several criteria, including a failure to provide a fire risk assessment and proof of any fire protections. In a statement Tuesday, Xcel said, "We have collaborated with the Elbert County community for 4 years," adding, "While we do not provide electric service to Elbert County residents, Pathway Project will provide important tax revenue benefiting the county, cities, fire, and school districts." The project will head to the Board of County Commissioners later in June. But residents say they just want their voices heard.
I understand we need power. I understand Xcel needs to do their things, but there are alternate routes that will not impact or cost Elbert County what is at risk.
In Elbert County, Claire Lavazorio, Denver 7.
Starting today, restitution is coming for thousands of renters who were illegally charged fees by Four Star Realty. You might remember last year, Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser announced that the Boulder-based property management company would pay the state nearly $1 million as a settlement. And our investigation found that Four Star Realty often charged its tenants for damage that they did not cause and for fees that were not part of their lease.
What kind of message does it send to property management groups that you went after this company?
This case is an important case because it sent a very clear message. If you're selling people something, and if you're in the real estate business and you're giving people a rental property, follow the law. Treat people the right way. Don't deceive people. Don't cut corners.
The Attorney General's office will email roughly 19,500 tenants who lived there between 2020 and 2023, inviting them to file a claim.
While it has never officially declared itself a sanctuary city, many Republicans certainly believe that Denver is a sanctuary city, so it should come as no surprise that the Trump administration put it on this list. But leaders of other Colorado cities were surprised to see their names on the list as well. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security put dozens of Colorado cities and counties on its list of sanctuary jurisdictions, including the cities of Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, Lakewood, North Glen, and Adams, Arapahoe, and Jefferson counties. DHS says these cities and counties are defying federal immigration law. But officials in many of these cities and counties told us they aren't breaking any laws. The mayor of Lafayette, which is also on the list, says his city passed a resolution affirming the city's commitment to protecting all people, but he says that doesn't make them a sanctuary jurisdiction.
We have no interest in breaking the law. We have not broken the law. We care about protecting our residents regardless of their background and providing those essential services that everybody deserves regardless of immigration status.
Boulder County commissioners released a strong statement accusing DHS of trying to scare people and turn communities against one another. They also said if being a sanctuary jurisdiction means that we support due process of law and human rights, then we are proud of that moniker. Brandon Richard, Denver 7.
I'm Denver 7's Nicole Brady. Real estate watchers are saying that Denver is now a buyer's market, but it may not feel that way when you look at the prices of some of these homes. There are, however, some things buyers can do, and at least right now, there are a lot more options for them.
Yeah, you cross the street here.
Dan Watson has been eyeing this Centennial neighborhood for years.
I would run through this park every day and say, this is a nice spot. I could walk to the office from here.
Now he's closing on a townhome.
And there were actually options. Like we looked at 2 units over here and then a unit over here, and in the neighborhood I wanted to live in, and kind of had my pick of what I wanted.
Dan experienced what some are now calling a buyer's market in Denver. The Denver Metro Association of Realtors released its monthly report showing the highest number of homes available on the market since 2011. Over 13,000 listings at the end of May versus 9,000 last May. But when there's more supply and less demand, prices usually drop. That's not happening. The median price in May was $600,000.
I know pricing feels high.
Amanda Snitker, who monitors trends in the market, says Denver prices are actually where they should be.
So we had a huge spike. We saw about 38% appreciation in a very short period of time, and then it kind of tapered off and just leveled out.
Snitker showed me the data, and if you took out the decline in values during the recession and the post-COVID price increase, Denver home values would have gained a steady 7% per year since 1990.
You know, if in your mind as a buyer you're wanting a 15 or 20% decrease in the value of homes, what does the rest of the economy look like?
So what can someone who wants to buy a house right now do? Realtor Joy Dysart says don't pay sticker price.
They're able to negotiate on the price. They are having the opportunity to buy down their loans. I don't think many people are paying that interest rate, especially first-time home buyers.
You can ask for seller concessions that bring down that 7% interest rate to 5 or 6%, and buyers can finally be picky again.
We got everything we asked for. Everything on the inspection resolution.
But she adds, make sure you love it, because you'll likely want to stay put a while in a market that for years hasn't been exactly normal. Nicole Brady, Denver 7.
I'm Ryan Fish for Denver 7. Last weekend, the summer kickoff event on 16th Street was the latest piece of an effort to try to revitalize downtown Denver. So I followed up with businesses on 16th to find out how much that weekend impacted them.
This past weekend, a welcome sight for the shops and restaurants on the now rebranded 16th Street in downtown Denver. A summer kickoff event meant music, vendors, and lots of visitors.
Saturday was amazing. We had a really nice time.
Donya Milkovic works at Aloha Hat and Soul and lives nearby. She thinks 16th is getting closer to the lively, walkable downtown she grew up with in Serbia.
I came here in August 2023. I can say it is much, much better. I feel safer.
Just how big was the turnout? I asked the Downtown Denver Partnership, who told me 2.4 million people visited 16th Street in 2024, roughly 6,500 a day. And this weekend drew 40,000 visits over the 2 days, more than double last year's daily average. Milkovic says she saw double the sales compared to an average weekend. Brian Ritchie at Henry's Tavern,
I want to see this mall packed every single day. Well, it's not the mall anymore.
Is still getting used to the changes. His restaurant is one of those now approved to sell alcohol to go for these new designated outdoor drinking zones off of 16th. He says it's gone smoothly so far.
It was actually a pretty simple process. The city was pretty easy on it. It's not like something we asked for. They wanted it to happen because they want to bring more people down to 16th Street and have a little bit more fun.
To do that, the city approved a $1.9 million contract for extra security and activations like this weekend. The partnership tells me that contract runs through the rest of this year. The city betting big on the next few months to change public perception and economic reality.
What would you tell them you want to see more or less of?
More events for all generations, for kids, for us younger people, for older people. That would be very nice.
I think word of mouth is going to be the biggest thing.
These businesses know that won't happen overnight, but hope the summer kickoff is the Kickstarter they need. Ryan Fish, Denver 7.
Denver 7 heading to Westwood to learn about some of the biggest challenges that the community is facing there. We are listening to your voice coming up. We are listening to your voice from Denver's Westwood neighborhood. You can see the map where it's located between Federal and Sheridan Boulevard and Alameda and Mississippi Avenue. This is an area known for its vibrant murals, Latino culture, and locally owned businesses. We talked with one business owner who says she is so proud to call Westwood home.
I think what draws so many people to this community is how much intention goes into preserving it. You know, it's been a working class, predominantly Latino immigrant neighborhood.
She also told us, though, about challenges to keep the business open. Denver 7 is back in Westwood to learn what's behind some of those challenges. Denver 7's Micah Smith is listening to those concerns from the owner of a bike shop and a restaurant.
There's a lot to love about Denver's Westwood neighborhood.
The community, the people, the tradition.
There is so much food diversity.
But some business owners who located here because of those qualities are finding it hard to stay open.
Revenues are down, and just for some, down 50%.
The one-stop bike shop that's just like 3 doors down from here essentially had to leave because they could not afford to stay in that space.
I went back to Westwood after our first Your Voice story to find out what happened from owner of One Stop Bike Shop, Tom Padilla.
I look at it almost like I want to walk up and open the door.
Padilla's shop was in Westwood for 31 years.
Somebody else bought the building, so they could do whatever they want with it. That's their place. But it was just the rent was too high for me. They was going to charge a higher rent, and it was more than almost triple by the time I paid the maintenance fees and all that stuff. So there's just no way I could do it. Before, I was just barely squeaking by.
Denver's Neighborhood Equity and Stabilization, or NEST division, identified Westwood as a community most at risk of displacement due to rapid changes. NEST considers 10 factors for this designation, including a business indicator for communities with businesses that have annual gross sales of under $500,000 a year. About a half-mile from Padilla's old place is Yvonne Bringas' restaurant, La Vecindad de la Chilenga. It opened in December, but revenue is already down. Bringas says this is because the economy is slowing down, unless people feel comfortable with the new administration. Bringas says immigration enforcement fears in this community, made up of working-class immigrants, means less customers. She says it's not easy because people are scared to spend money and of losing their jobs. Bringas says everything is more expensive now. And she's competing with local street vendors. Despite the challenges, she's still hopeful and wants to keep growing.
Tom, what is your hope for the future?
I've spent a lot of time looking for buildings and storefronts, and all I can find is expensive stuff. I don't know what the future holds, but if somebody either buys a lot of my inventory, and then I can start a smaller place, that's what I'm hoping for.
Padilla and Bringas both say Westwood is a good neighborhood, and it's exactly where they want to be. Reporting in Westwood, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
If you missed Micah's stop in Westwood and have a connection to that neighborhood, you can still have your voice heard. You can scan the QR code on your screen for ways to connect with Micah or send her an email at micah.smith@denver7.com.
Parking problems in downtown Denver. I'm consumer investigator Jacqueline Allen, and I have been covering this issue for years. But lately, we've been hearing from people who are complaining about paying to park and then getting sky-high citations in the mail. So we wanted to find out what's going on and what can the city do about it.
Seems like the price of everything's going up, including parking. Nick is showing me he paid the extra game day rate, $25, to park in this downtown lot during a Rockies game. A few days later, this notice came in the mail. For staying past 11 p.m., $102.
So they charged you over $100 for staying about an hour extra.
Yes.
Does that seem fair?
Not at all. It definitely discourages me to come down, park here, and support the small businesses.
Denver 7 investigates.
This is the fine print.
Has been covering concerns over private parking lots downtown for years.
The city's cracking down on unlicensed lots.
Yeah. Since the start of the year, the city has cited more than 80 unlicensed private lots. But when it comes to parking fees or fines, Eric Escudero with Denver's Department of Excise and Licenses tells me the city's hands are tied.
So if someone gets a ticket, we don't have the legal authority to make a private parking operator refund that ticket, and they have to go through a legal process, which can be costly for consumers.
So we took concerns to City Councilman Chris Hines.
Is the city doing enough?
So government moves slowly. We're not doing enough. we're investigating how we can do more.
Parking Revenue Recovery Services handles compliance management for most of Denver's private lots. And the co-founder tells me their signs are clear. They can charge up to $250 per violation. But remember, we found another sign on this lot that says expired parking is $92. They're charging $102. The co-founder says that sign needs to be updated. Are you considering putting a cap on these parking tickets?
Yes. I want to thank you and others for reaching out, because I didn't realize the gravity of or extent of this problem. We should be encouraging people to come here and spend their money downtown and get sales tax revenue, and this is just totally getting in the way.
Councilman Hines says he's researching everything from caps on parking fines to regulating hours and appeals. He says because parking shouldn't be the reason people can't afford to come downtown. In Denver, Jacqueline Allen for Denver 7 Investigates.
I'm Richard Butler with Denver 7. Behind me is the Boulder County Courthouse, now recognized as a National Historic Landmark. Now, it's the site of the first intentional same-sex marriage license issued in the country. And this special occasion is serving as the perfect way to kick off Pride Month.
It's an extraordinary recognition of courage, justice, and the enduring power of local leadership.
On the front lawn of the Boulder County Courthouse, history, as the building gets its National Historic Landmark designation, a recognition 50 years in the making.
In 1975, Clerk Clayla Rorex did something unprecedented by issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples.
Boulder County Clerk Clayla Rorex knew she was making history, but she may not have known that her fearless work was the first domino that led to gay marriage being legalized across the nation.
The story is she didn't know any gays, but she went ahead and married them anyway.
And now, they're taking a moment to reflect on that legacy.
When we honor where history happened, we continually reaffirm the rights and experiences of everyone in our community.
Among those in the crowd, folks of all ages.
It's really comforting, especially as times are getting worse, to know that there are allies. There have historically been allies, and they're still there.
And for some, the event became a new chapter in their own love story. Alex Herman proposed to Addison Watts on the courthouse lawn.
So I asked her to marry me, and she did say yes.
I was hoping for a proposal, but I didn't know when it's happening.
Alex and Addison are not Colorado natives, but it's their home now, the place they feel most comfortable.
Very, very proud to say that I live in Colorado and plan to live here for a long time, yeah.
With pride and love proudly displayed, Boulder's legacy stands as a reminder of progress and the work still ahead.
We're not done. There's still a lot of work to do, and we have to keep inspiring future generations, and I think celebrations like today are an important part of that.
In Boulder, Richard Butler, Denver 7.
If you stood in line to order food from a food truck, you know that it can get a little noisy.
This initiative addresses that type of problem, the public health issues, respiratory illnesses, and the noise pollution.
How a new program is hoping to make things a little quieter while cutting costs and pollution. We're following up on Colorado's efforts to help food trucks go green. Last year, we told you about a state grant program helping mobile businesses go electric. Now Boulder is adding its own incentives, stacking local support on top of state funding to make the switch even more affordable. Denver 7's Colin Riley visited Sanitas Brewing to ask business owners what they think.
If I'm off the grid, then it's better for me, it's better for the environment, it's better for Sanitas here for their electric bill.
For years, Bradford McDevitt, co-owner of McDevitt Taco Supply, has operated 2 taco carts. This cart has been on electric power for a while, plugged into outlets here at Sanitas Brewing in Boulder. But now McDevitt wants to go completely off the grid by installing solar panels.
We wouldn't have to pay electricity anymore here, which in turn we could turn savings on to the customers, and everybody loves cheaper tacos.
McDevitt is looking to take advantage of the Food Truck Electrification and Efficiency Program, a new initiative in Boulder County that partners with the city and state to encourage mobile business owners to switch to electric power. The initiative will cover 80% of the cost, up to $20,000.
For them covering 80% of solar panels on this taco cart, why wouldn't I switch to that?
The county is hoping other mobile business owners licensed in Boulder County come to the same conclusion.
It's a big concern that traditional food truck engine can emit a lot of CO2, you know that, and affect the quality of the air, and it's becoming a public issue.
Air pollution is their main concern, but they say it's a better customer experience too.
Battery is much better, not only for the environment, but for the noise in the truck. I can hear people better. The exhaust is horrible. the maintenance of the generator. It's not very reliable.
Christy Knudsen, owner of Rush Coffee Boulder, made the switch to full electric earlier this year.
How you get ready, you prepped? Has it gotten easier or harder?
Easier, much easier. I'm not running to get gas all the time. I'm not checking a generator to make sure it's full.
She says she's never going back to gas.
I was afraid to talk to people who were doing weddings or bar mitzvahs or more intimate events because I have this generator that's really disruptive.
In Boulder, Colin Riley, Denver 7.
The county is hosting an event to help answer any questions and showcase the new program. It's happening tomorrow from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Latino Chamber of Commerce in Longmont.
And today is a big deadline for President Donald Trump's tariff policies. The White House says it wants other countries to submit its best offers for trade deals today. As of now, the 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs is set to end on July 9th. Experts aren't sure how many trade agreements the Trump administration can secure by then. Also today, President Trump is doubling tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. He's increasing those tariffs to 50%. He says that will help support American businesses, but some trade groups say it will likely lead to higher prices at the grocery store, especially when it comes to production of things like cans. It'll also affect things like AC repairs. If you need any repairs on one this summer, experts say you might want to budget a bit more. Scripps News Group's Holly Furfer explains all the factors that go into this.
Summer may not have officially started, but the heat is here. And we're firing up our air conditioners, the start of the busy season for HVAC companies like United Air Conditioning.
When it's hot out and humid, people are calling, so it's started early this year for sure.
Replacing or repairing your air conditioner hasn't been cheap. And this year, don't expect that to change. Already high prices are meeting with tariffs and a changeover in efficiency standards. And for companies, that changeover has meant difficulties getting a new refrigerant for new units.
All of a sudden it was like, a couple weeks went by and then we started using it and then we're like, oh, order some more, and it wasn't available. That's when we were like, uh-oh. And then we started looking into it and asking around. Everybody was freaking out.
The new refrigerant called R454B significantly reduces greenhouse gas emissions. It's formulated for new systems to meet planned EPA requirements. But many workers are having trouble finding the gas and a harder time finding approved containers to transport it. Jerry Hardy, the vice president at United Air Conditioning in Largo, Florida, found a workaround.
2 of them are 100-pounders, 2 of them are 90-pounders. It's ridiculous. They're heavy. It's not ideal. But it worked out perfect for us because it saved us money on the gas. Mm-hmm. And then we just had to put a little bit of work into putting it in containers.
But for smaller companies, a big tank is a major investment, leaving some to not have the refrigerant at all. One tech telling Scripps News Group in Buffalo.
Right now, if I look to place an order direct with one of the manufacturers, they're saying that I might receive it in November or December.
In April, Honeywell, one of 2 companies that manufactures the refrigerant, sent a notice to its customers acknowledging the shortage and the impact of tariffs. Higher than expected demand and materials subject to tariffs mean a surcharge of 42% on every invoice after February. Honeywell declined to comment on the notice and surcharge, another cost that's passed down to customers.
People will hold on to their money too. They'll repair their systems more. They're more likely to fix it.
Holly Furfer, Scripps News Group.
Stick around. There is more news in just 2 minutes.
I'm Ryan Fish for Denver 7. Colorado was set to become the first state to ban landlords from using AI algorithms to set rent prices. But the bill that would have done that was vetoed by Governor Jared Polis this week.
Governor Jared Polis is shutting the door on House Bill 1004, which would have banned landlords from using certain AI algorithms to set rent prices. In his veto letter, Polis wrote, quote, I have grave concerns about prohibiting companies using algorithmic pricing software derived from multiple data sources from doing business in Colorado. The Colorado Apartment Association has said the software is a critical tool for measuring the housing market.
Tools like this are extremely destructive.
Zach Newman and housing advocates say the software enables price fixing.
Putting Colorado renters on the line so that out-of-state landlords and big tech can make more money is just so deeply harmful to our community. When companies like RealPage are allowed to fix rents and collude, it drives up prices, which drives up homelessness.
RealPage is the target of a federal lawsuit which Colorado joined last year, accused of using this technology to help landlords collude and hike rental prices. RealPage denies any wrongdoing and calls Polis's veto, quote, courageous leadership.
It's machine learning.
MSU Denver professor Sam Jay studies AI and says the rent-setting software isn't that different than predictive tools other industries have used for decades. But he says it can become a problem without oversight.
I do understand concerns about folks, seeing that artificial intelligence is being used to make decisions about people's lives. And that's a huge, huge deal, particularly when you don't really understand how those decisions are made.
Jay expects Colorado's pending AI regulation law to lead to more transparency and force organizations to be more thoughtful about AI. It goes into effect next February, but many in the tech industry are asking for more time to adjust to the new rules. And despite the veto, Newman hopes the fight isn't over yet.
I would love to see this bill come back next year in the legislature. I think we should see the same version or an even stronger one.
In Denver, Ryan Fish, Denver 7.
Solo travel, sometimes to places like Europe, is more popular than ever, especially among women. Coming up, I'll tell you about why that is and if those trends are likely to continue.
I'm Denver 7's Veronica Acosta. The city of Aurora, Weld, and El Paso counties are just 3 of the jurisdictions on that DHS list that came off of it within the first 24 hours of it being posted. The list started with 41 Colorado counties, 15 cities, all accused of, quote, obstructing the enforcement of federal immigration laws. All branded as so-called sanctuary counties or cities, though some of them quickly asking to be taken off that list.
I was informed that this list was coming out, and I didn't think there would be much concern here in Colorado.
The release of the list started a whirlwind of cleanup for Congresswoman Lauren Boebert on Friday, who says she spent the day fielding calls from different jurisdictions asking they be removed, calling the inclusion of certain places like the city of Aurora, Weld, and El Paso counties based on, quote, inaccuracies.
I do think that this was a lot of bad data, old data that was being looked at, but the Trump administration has admitted that if there is a wrong, they will be swift in getting that corrected. And we are already seeing the corrections being made in real time, and there will be more.
So because you mentioned there were some inaccuracies in the list, do you think that the Trump administration and DHS released it too preemptively?
I don't think that this is too quick to release it. What really matters is that we get it right.
In a statement, Weld County said it should have never been on the list because of past action it codified, saying, quote, no appropriations from general fund, capital expenditure fund, special revenue funds, or proprietary funds for the specified purpose of providing emergency sheltering of illegal aliens within Weld County. The city of Aurora following suit, saying in part, quote, as we have said many times over the last few years, the city of Aurora is not and has never been a, quote, sanctuary city. It also affirmed that in a vote in 2017 and then again last year. And the Congresswoman says Logan, Baca, and Kit Carson counties want their names off that list, too. In Denver, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
We continue to follow new challenges for local food banks. We've told you some of the struggles that they're facing due to fewer donations and federal funding cuts. Now it's starting to trickle down to smaller food pantries. Denver 7's Adria Irahita spoke with one of those in Denver and listened to how this is affecting people in the Globeville, Elaria, Swansea neighborhood.
There's a very large apple pie.
For the past year and a half.
Doesn't seem like much, but believe it or not, it goes far. If you're frugal.
The Denver Scrap Metal Food Bank has been a lifeline for Michael Smith.
I tried not to come to food banks, but financially, life is a struggle. So that's one of the reasons. They're very, very helpful.
Twice a week on Fridays and Saturdays, this line is out the door as Globeville, Elyria, Swansea residents get their food for the week.
We've become a staple in this community. People know in this community, there's not a lot of options for groceries. It's a bit of a food desert.
But starting today, CFO Mark Cunningham tells me this lifeline now has to reduce its hours to just 1 day a week due to fewer donations.
The demand is still very high, and in fact, it's increasing right now. We always see a big increase in need for food around summer as kids get out of school for summer.
Tough times made tougher as the fate of the property itself is up in the air.
The eminent domain deal with the city is going to seize a lot of property that will affect our food bank. And this line here is not going to be able to exist if the city is successful.
We reached out to the city of Denver to get answers. A spokesperson shared the city is in negotiations to make safety improvements along Washington Street, including reducing flood risks. That's all they could tell us due to ongoing negotiations with Denver scrap metal. It's a big concern to folks like Michael, who've come to rely on the site to survive.
I'm on foot, and this place is within walking distance of the spot that I stay. Not indoors, and I would have to go a lot further and try to figure out ways to get bus fare to go to other food pantries.
Despite the challenges, the food bank is keeping the faith.
We'd like to see food donations increase, but also we just want the city to work with us so that we can continue meeting the needs of this area and these residents.
In Denver, Adria Arajita, Denver 7.
A rancher in Fremont County is continuing to seek answers as to why 15 cows died in a day. We first reported this 2 weeks ago. The rancher is still looking for the cause of the deaths from several local and state tests. Our Peter Choi digging into this story and has been doing so since day one.
All right, here's what happened. On May 21st, I spoke with a local rancher in Fremont County about her dead cows. Let's rewind for a few weeks. On May 8th, she found 15 of her cows dead with no definite cause of their deaths. And that day, she contacted local vet to find answers. A week later, that vet came back and said sulfate poisoning is likely the cause. She tells me a testing result from different labs still leaves her no answers as to why her cows died.
I hope for answers.
Answers that are getting harder to find. Rancher Carrie Higgs says the local vet took samples to Colorado State University lab to get a second opinion.
She talked to a Dr. Webb at CSU, and they conversed.
Well, on May 27th, the CSU vet released a new testing results, and it says no significant findings on the cause of death.
The lab testing was done by the CSU Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory in Fort Collins. It took tissue samples from a 1-year-old female dead cow. The results showed no significant lesions were found in multiple tested tissues.
I don't know what else it could be, honestly.
Higgs contacted the Colorado Energy Carbon Management Commission for help because
the smell on the oil pad was really bad.
On Monday, using optical gas imagery cameras, the ECMC used a drone to check for any gas in the area where the cows died. And now it's a waiting game with hope to have something that could answer her questions. In Fremont County, Peter Choi, News 5.
We're getting into the warmer months, and a lot of people are about to be taking some well-deserved vacations. I'm Denver 7's Ethan Carlson. Outside of Max Adventure, it's a travel company that has an office right here in Denver. They help you plan your perfect vacation, and they say for a lot of people, the best way to travel is alone. Hotel reservations, travel accommodations, knowing which route to take. There's a lot that goes into planning a vacation.
We're sending people on a truly life-changing adventure and letting them see the world and how we think it should be seen.
Lauren McFadden is a customer service director for Max Adventure. They're one of the many travel companies that specialize in planning self-guided hiking and biking vacations to Europe, Japan, and New Zealand.
Anywhere from extreme through hikes that are 18 miles a day to easier going discovery tours that maybe include a rail journey or e-biking.
Tours you can take at your own pace, and it might surprise you to hear more and more people are taking these tours as solo adventures.
It's a big challenge that people like to partake and figure out, can they do this?
And now most of the people answering yes to that question are women, who make up 57% of all solo travelers, up 4% from last year. Many women feel safer than ever thanks to social media, the internet, and travel apps from companies like Max.
They track you along as you go. It tells you how far you have to walk that day, how far you've already walked and need to go. We handle all of that for you, and you don't have to go and figure it all out on your own.
McFadden believes self-guided tours and solo vacations are here to stay.
It's not a fad, and I think as just technology improves and the safety of regions and the accessibility of regions, that's why it's easier to get out there and go on your own.
And if you're thinking about finally taking that bucket list trip,
it's okay to get out of your comfort zone, but talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about.
In Denver, Ethan Carlson, Denver 7.
We're looking to concerns about bike safety here in Denver. Up next, the questions that we are getting answers about pertaining to bike lanes downtown.
I'm Denver 7's Maggie Wolanski in Fort Collins, talking to community members about the final recommendation from the Hughes Civic Assembly and what that could mean for the future of this land.
It's kind of a big, open, unused space.
Known to the Fort Collins community as
famous or infamous former Hughes Stadium property.
Voters approved the purchase of the land in 2021. A panel of 20 Fort Collins residents made up a civic assembly to help answer the question of what will happen next to this land.
I thought it was a great process. It's perfectly fitting for this space and how it came to be a city-owned property.
Kenny Bearden, executive director of Overland Mountain Bike Association, who presented to the panel, supports a combination of open spaces, trails, and a bike park.
I'm not going to lie, this is a huge win for the bicycling community of Fort Collins, and we're excited to see this happen.
In addition to supporting a multi-use space, the final report showed voices in the indigenous community were heard.
The only thing that 100% of the delegates had consensus on was that there should be a space on the site for indigenous use, that indigenous people should be consulted in every step of the development on that site, whether it's a bike park, natural areas, or nature center.
Andre Dunn with Extended Family of Women of the Earth says there has been a call for action to return the land back to Native people.
If there's no dedicated space in this city or really anywhere across northern Colorado for indigenous people, either local or historically displaced, to come and hold their traditional ceremonies.
Now, posters are being made as the nonprofit plans to share a proposal to City Council to rename the land.
This is the time to show that there's a lot of support and that there are a lot of people in the Native community who are willing to step forward.
As rich as the history is on this land, there's hope the future will keep all included.
It's given us a lot of hope. Our push the entire process was for a multi-use space.
Maggie Wolanski, Denver 7.
Denver cyclists have reached out to Denver 7's On Two Wheels asking what's going on with changes to protected bike paths in downtown. Some riders actually say that these changes are making them feel less safe. Denver 7 chef Anastasio hopped on his bike to check out their concerns to find some answers.
The thing I liked about the lanes is that as I was driving, it was very clear it was there. So I knew where a cyclist was going to be.
No matter what side of the lane you're on, you've probably noticed these white things sticking up between you and the wheels on the other side. And that's the point.
I like that it gives you that real sense of separation. You know, if it's just a line of paint on the ground, all it takes is for someone to be staring at their phone and wander into the lane.
They're called flex posts, and those who bike these busy downtown Denver paths on Blake and Market Streets, mixing with cars, scooters, and pedestrians, know why they're there and notice when they're not.
As a rider, it felt a little safer. You know, it had things like reflectors on it, so at night you could see the line, and in the snow you knew where the blocks were.
Rob Totness, co-founder of the Denver Bicycle Lobby, noticed some of the flex posts surrounded by these zippers or zegless were missing. So he reached out to Denver's Department of Transportation and Infrastructure.
They have told us that this was primarily an aesthetic concern. They also mentioned that they wanted to remove the post because it would allow pedestrians to more easily see into businesses.
So if we would have taken these out so that pedestrians could see into windows, where are the windows that pedestrians need to look into?
It's an excellent question. On some of the blocks, there aren't shops to see into, and then on blocks where there are shops to see into, we see that the flex posts remain.
On Two Wheels also reached out to Dottie, who wrote back, they are upgrading the Blake Street bike lane from 14th to Broadway and the Market Street bike lane from Spear to Broadway. Both of these bike lanes already have the dividers. Dottie says some flex posts will remain in locations that require greater visibility, such as corners and places where people in cars and people on bikes are more likely to conflict. And you can see some of these posts still in place. Rob says Dottie's original plan called for the posts every 20 feet. Dottie said they haven't deviated from their plans and that the spacing of posts depends on elements of protections used. But it's that line about aesthetics and improving sight lines for pedestrians to see into store windows. That isn't sitting right with the Denver bicycle lobby.
These are 36 inches tall. I don't think it's blocking the view of anything any more than an F-150 is. Those posts did many things, but one of them was a deterrent from people driving into the lane.
Which is what I captured while recording video for this story. On Blake Street, a driver did this.
But when people intrude on the lane, that often will either push you out into traffic. It's scary.
And Dottie answered more of our questions, which you can read in this story on Denver7.com. If you have a biking concern in Denver, reach out to me at on2wheels@Denver7.com. Reporting in downtown Denver, Jeff Anastasio, Denver 7.
I swear I'm not that short. It's just that the art is really big. Coming up, I'll tell you about the artist, his art, and how it won't cost you much to come see it.
Turning now to a positive story happening in Colorado. Miles McClarty played high school football in Colorado Springs before being diagnosed with cancer. All of his D1 offers went away with that diagnosis, except for UNC's. Now he's out of the hospital and ready to get to Greeley to become a Bear. Our Nick Rothschild shares the story.
I mean, for a 16-year-old to get diagnosed with cancer in the prime of their, football career or sports career, and to kind of see their dreams and aspirations kind of fade away. He had some moments that were just really hard.
3.5 years ago, acute lymphoblastic leukemia stole the smile off Miles McClarty's face. It nearly took everything, but thanks to uncommon determination and a dedicated care team, Miles regained his grin and got back in the game.
I'm not really an emotional guy, but I just broke down in tears.
Through years of chemo and physical therapy, McClarty maintained a brave face for his family.
He held that in for so long, and finally just to know that it was over and he could just relieve himself from all of that pent-up emotion was just really beautiful.
Ringing that bell, declaring himself cancer-free, the emotional floodgates finally opened.
Once I rang the bell, it just felt like the weight was lifted off my shoulders, like all the time sick and all the time spent in the hospital just washed away. I like to think I'm pretty humble and I kind of downplay, everything I've been through, but once you get in that moment, you look back and you see everything you've gone through and you see how far you've come. It's just a wake-up call to how really mentally and physically strong that I can be.
Like, no one deserves this moment more than Miles.
That's Adrienne Enright, McClarty's physical therapist at Children's Hospital, Colorado. She saw, up close and personal, Miles fight the darkness cancer causes.
I could tell if he was hurting or if he was tired, and he would always say yes.
Sometimes me fighting is just hanging on for dear life. When it's hard and when you're tired and you're sick, just don't give up. It feels like there's nowhere to go in the moment, but looking back, you realize how far you really come, even when you think you're not moving at all.
Through the countless hours toiling to get his body back, he found a new future.
Yeah, when he told me that he wanted to be a physical therapist, I was just blown away.
I want to be in those shoes and helping kids out that were just like me.
He stands out so much to me as just the best patient, so resilient, like a true hero, how he's just taken everything with such grace and just rolling with everything. Super honored that, I could be part of his journey and that now he's going to be a physical therapist. He's going to be an amazing one.
That may be what's next, but his present remains on the gridiron.
My coach was with me when I rang the bell, and I hugged him, and he said, now it's time to go.
UNC's support through his cancer journey really meant a lot to McClarty. And now he's working as hard as ever to help the Bears win football games next fall. That's this week's View from the Top. For Denver 7 Sports, I'm Nick Rothschild.
I'm Richard Butler with Denver 7. Deputy Candace Lewis is a school resource officer for Manning Middle School in Golden, but she goes above and beyond her duties as the protector of the school. That's why she's this week's Denver 7 Everyday Hero. Inside a classroom at Manning Middle School.
They're all so different too. We have such diversity in terms of student interests and passions.
The Crochet Club gathers every Tuesday during lunch.
It's going to be adorable.
And it's supervised by School Resource Officer Deputy Candace Lewis. She's been an SRO for Manning for 7 years now. For many of the girls, she's more than just the school's protector.
Last school year, I saw a kid walk in with yarn and a crochet hook.
And she pulled us to the side and was like, "You guys crochet?" And we were like, "Yes."
That was the start of the Crochet Club, with only 8 students joining last year.
This year, it took off. And I'm probably at 35 kids that come in for lunch and recess.
She's given me tips, she's helped me learn certain things, and she's just really made a big impact on my life in a positive way.
At first, I was scared of her like I would be with any cop, but like as soon as I started crocheting with her, I just see that she's such a sweet person.
Parents who know Deputy Lewis say she's a true role model for the girls and appreciates her going above and beyond her role as an SRO.
She's one of the most trusted adults in the building. I mean, the kids really, look up to her.
For Deputy Lewis, these connections are what mean the most.
It means the world to me to know that these kids do feel safe and they feel protected and they feel the connection.
Deputy Candace Lewis going above and beyond is what makes her a Denver 7 Everyday Hero.
On behalf of Denver 7 and Levine Law, we'd like to honor you as a Denver 7 Everyday Hero.
Oh, you guys. Thank you. It's been more of a joy for me than for them, I think. I adore these kids. I absolutely adore every single one of them.
In Golden, Richard Butler, Denver 7.
An old building is getting new life in Denver's Baker neighborhood. Denver 7's Ethan Carlson showing us the transformation of an old factory.
Bringing art to the Baker neighborhood. I'm at Cookie Factory. It's not just a new art exhibit, it's a new art museum, and guess what? It's free of charge.
You get lost in them, but you never really quite get your bearings as to where you are.
Art exploring the complexities of nature.
It's very painterly. It has elements of photography.
Brought to Denver, right in the middle of the Baker neighborhood, a new art museum with an appetizing name. You can still see the name Sunrise Food Products on the wall. For 2 generations, this building made fortune cookies. Hence the name, Cookie Factory.
There was just something really magical and kind of alluring about the fact that it was a fortune cookie factory.
This has been a dream for Amanda Jane Precourt for the past 8 years, when she and her husband Andrew first learned the building was vacant and available.
I want Cookie Factory to be a place where people can come and connect with art and connect with people and find some contentment and some joy in a really chaotic world.
A space that highlights only one artist at a time. This time it's Sam Fall's work in an exhibition called Nothing Without Nature. For the next 4 months, his art will be on the walls here, with occasional events like yoga, food, dance, and poetry meant to augment his natural theme.
Having one artist at a time allows there to be really an experience with the artist and with the space.
They're hoping to fit right into a Denver art scene already brimming with world-class institutions.
The idea is to really just have it be sort of an offering to the Denver community. Make it free and available.
That's right. Admission to the gallery is free.
One of our goals is to reach new audiences that you don't typically expect with an art institution like this.
Privately funded by Precourt, her passion project is simply to bring art to as many people as she can.
From my own experiences, I know that art really does heal. Art has been a source for me to find mental wellness when I'm struggling.
World-class art bringing a bit of peace and tranquility to a little Denver neighborhood with big things to offer.
Baker really exemplifies the artistic nature of Denver.
In Baker, Ethan Carlson, Denver 7.
I'm John Matteries. From dads to grads and planning your summer vacation, June is a great month to shop for deals. I'll show you some of the best things to find in stores right now.
I'm Denver 7's Wanye Reese. We are officially in the month of June, which means Juneteenth is not too far away. I have a really interesting story. I got a chance to meet up with an organization that is supporting black nonprofits throughout the whole entire state of Colorado. Let's check it out.
Without having that parental figure, the father figure at home, that led me to want to do things a little bit different.
Marius Finch says growing up in a single-parent household inspired him to not only want more for himself, but also for his community.
And I worked at Denver Housing Authority for a little while, also at an organization called the I Have a Dream Foundation, which is a long-term dropout prevention program.
With a resume full of giving back, he continues to do just that through the Ambassador Foundation.
Our mission is opening doors to higher education for all underrepresented Colorado students. But the ways that we do that, namely our college advising, so we work with students one-on-one.
As the executive director, Marius has been able to gain skills to lead his organization through the Executive Directors of Color Institute workshop.
The whole premise of it is to create a safe space for leaders, nonprofit leaders of color, to be able to share and learn. We have a peer-to-peer structure.
The free program is powered by the Black Resilience in Colorado Fund, or BRIC. That was started back in 2020 following the death of George Floyd and nationwide protests.
We created the Black Resilience in Colorado Fund, one, to continue to support Black-led and Black-serving nonprofit organizations, not just to survive, but for not only themselves, but for Black communities to thrive.
So far, the organization has raised more than $9 million, and it's used that money to support a variety of different ventures.
So we've been able to support nonprofit organizations that address health, housing, youth development, racial justice, that could be community organizing. And then we also have a space that we call emerging needs, because sometimes you don't know exactly what you need, or you want to have some resources to address things that bubble up.
As BRIC approaches another anniversary, they are more driven than ever to support and uplift the Black community, including people like Marius, who is thankful for the tools and resources to help out his community. Reporting in Denver, I'm Wanye Reese, Denver 7.
Mark your calendar, because June is a great month to shop for gifts. From dads to grads, you'll find lots of sales right now. Plus, if you're planning your summer vacation, you'll find a lot of deals on camping and outdoor equipment too.
Here at Benchmark Outdoor Outfitters, the shelves are filled with summer outdoor gear.
I really like that jacket a lot.
And salesman Max Artbauer says they have great deals on everything from backpacks.
This is one of my absolute favorite things we have in the store.
To camping chairs.
This is the Moonlight reclining chair.
To those popular Yeti coolers.
We have the Yeti Tundra. This is their most classic cooler.
On a budget, he says cups like these Hydro Flasks or Nalgene's are perfect for summer.
It's just basic. It is $16. It's 32 ounces. It's the Hiker Classic.
Consumer Reports deals editor Samantha Gordon tells us June will bring lots of promotions on gifts for Father's Day and graduations, especially on tech products, power tools, lawn care equipment, and stereotypical dad gifts like ties and golf items.
There are special offers there because people are looking for those standard first thing that you think of when you think of a gift for dad items are going to be on sale. The more stereotypical the item is, the more likely you're able to find a discount on it.
But she says if you're planning to buy bigger items, it's better to hold off.
Amazon has already teased that they will be holding another Prime Day in July. And with that, a lot of other retailers have big sales as well.
You can scan this QR code for the best deals tracked by Consumer Reports. Back at Benchmark, Max Artbauer says you'll find the best selection of the year for outdoor gear during June.
There's no better time than this month for sure.
And that way you don't waste your money. John Matarese, Scripps News Group.
Thanks for staying with us here on Denver 7 Plus. We're streaming Colorado news and weather 24/7 on your TV. And remember, you can catch all the latest headlines and in-depth coverage of issues that matter to you and the rest of Coloradans anytime on our website, denver7.com.
1 week after that attack on Pearl Street, the city's annual Jewish festival taking on a completely different meaning this year. This festival runs every year here along the Pearl Street Mall where last week's attack happened, and we did see more security at today's festival with safety top of mind. So Denver 7's Maggie Wolanski live for us this afternoon along Pearl Street. Maggie, talk to me about your takeaways at today's festival.
Jacqueline, this was a very powerful and emotional event out here. Now, I saw people crying when listening to speakers who are sharing messages of hope and strength right now. There was also a lot of families out here. I saw lots of children. There was even a little boy at one point pointing up to the armed security. As you mentioned, there was a very big presence out here. But what really stuck out to me was this was people coming from all over, all different ages, all different religions to show their support here in Boulder. Now, from where I'm standing on the Pearl Street Mall, we saw thousands of people come on out here carrying signs and flags to show their support during this time. Now, this comes after tragedy struck just last week. There were some uplifting moments, though, throughout the day with the crowd dancing at one point and people going up to the different vendors here. The Boulder Jewish Community Center says more than 15,000 people filled Pearl Street, making it the largest Boulder Jewish festival in the event's 30-year history. Now, one family I spoke with told me they wanted to come to stand up to hate and to show they are not scared to be themselves.
We want to be in the open. This is who we are. Can we just be human like everybody else, you know? And not because we're Jewish, we're going to be mistreated and the object of assault.
It was amazing because I've walked in the past and this was 10 times, maybe 50 times larger. And so it's just that much more moving to see all these types of people come together from all walks of life.
Coming up at 10 p.m. tonight, you'll hear from a vendor who says this was the Boulder Jewish community coming together as one to lift each other up right now. Live in Boulder, Maggie Wolanski, Denver 7.
Love to see so many people out there. Thank you, Maggie. And Jewish Colorado has set up a fund to pay for those enhanced security measures Maggie just talked about, both for today's festival and into the future. If you would like to donate, you can find that fund at jewishcolorado.org. And you can also follow our coverage at denver7.com.